together. For more information, visit alz.org/time-to-talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
This is Kayaking 88.5 FM.
I love you.
The voice of Maui.
It's time for Biscuits and Gravy.
Is it?
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit.
On Kaku 88.5
cheddar
FM,
chew
Kahului, Maui, the voice of Maui. Biscuits and Gravy.
Hello, boys.
What does LP stand for? Lizard people!
Nazi whale margarine pirates.
Oh, I forgot my bag of tricks.
Pole
pot pie.
I'm the
Not me.
prognosticator of prognosticators.
Like a slaughterhouse thing.
Good morning and aloha, Biscuiteers. You got it dialed on in to KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of
Gravy.
That's right, Gravy Gals, Biscuit Boys, Biscuiteers. Thank you so much for making the Biscuits and Gravy Show a part of your day, a part of your life. I got biscuits and gravy coursing through my veins. This is not NPR. This is BGR. This is not mainstream media. This is not lamestream media. This is the Truth Network. You can catch us out 24 hours a day at biscuitwars.com because the universe wants to divide and conquer. But you know what's going to unite everybody?
No.
Biscuits and gravy.
That's
correct.
right.
And we got the sultry sound of comedian extraordinaire Shahane in the membrane.
What up?
And my co-host, my cohort, my co-something, Vincent Fodi. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here. It's great to have you back, Chuck. And
That's right.
well, it's great to have all of our Biscuiteers with us once again, and it's great to be back on the gravy train.
We got so much to talk about. We've missed so much. We're going to finish today's episode off with our celebrated segment, Chuck Stuff the Knowledge Buffalo. We're going to ask each other the deepest, darkest questions, like, what's your favorite four non-blonde song?
I can tell you what mine is.
What?
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
And the big answer to what's going on is I see that you're enjoying some popcorners over there.
Heck yeah, I am.
And you know what? Do you remember when popcorners first came out?
Yes.
And they did the Breaking Bad Super Bowl commercial for
Yeah.
it. And I was like, I'm not going to start eating popcorners just because they got the guys from my favorite TV show.
Wasn't it that scene instead
I'm not
of throwing
gonna
the drugs, they were throwing popcorners?
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to fall for that advertising scam. And then I tried popcorners for the first time, and I was like, oh, my God, they're so good.
It took a while for them to come out. Remember Quaker Oats had, like, the puffed rice things that were, like, if you were
The rice
going on it,
cakes.
they were okay.
I don't see them anymore.
No. I think your
then
mom
they-
has to quit smoking for them to appear. I think that's how it works.
You have to be looking for them.
Yeah.
And even then.
My dad was really into those. Are they in the cereal aisle or, like, the breakfast food aisle,
No one
maybe?
knows. They're not like Entenmann's. They don't have their
But
own
they
aisle.
were
They're in, like the bread and jelly aisle.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So next to like the English muffins, maybe.
Yeah.
Because they came in a similar
Whoa.
bag, right?
Remember when they were just making the tops of muffins and they tasted really like fake?
Top of the muffin to you. But I really love some of the popcorners. The white cheddar, my wife loves.
Mm-hmm.
My wife loves everything that's white cheddar.
White cheddar's so good. White cheddar, smart food, Yumtown.
But
Pretty
the one that you got right here is possibly my all-time favorite. It's the spicy queso.
Spicy queso, bro.
I love the spicy queso popcorn.
Have you ever used this to dip into more spicy queso?
No.
You got to start doing.
How's the
it. Or a
structural
salsa fresca.
integrity? How's the structural integrity of the popcorners? Does it hold up to a
Holds
dip?
Holds up to a dip.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
much as like a tortilla chip would.
Just a half a step below
Okay.
from a tortilla.
But you just got to be gentle with it.
It does soggy stuff a lot better. You can like really like let it soak up.
You doing some pretty soggy stuff
If
over
I'm
there,
doing,
Chuck?
I'm a soggy dipper to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a
And I
sogger.
sometimes you get distracted, or sometimes like an Oreo, you want to leave the Oreo in the milk a little bit longer.
Did you try the peanut butter Oreo last night?
I had about
I did.
7 of them.
Very good.
I ate
Also,
a-
those cookies were nuts.
Oh, where did the cookies come from?
A friend of the show.
Yeah, that
And
la-
of course,
that
we're
lady
talking
gave them
about
to you.
last night was Tickle Me Tuesdays down at the Triangle.
Yeah, so if you are a fan of comedy, don't forget that there are 2 ways that you can check out open mics here on the island. There's the famous one that's every Monday at PBCB. That's Paia Bay Coffee Bar in Paia. And that starts around like 7 o'clock and everything. And that's the one that's like getting really popular online. There's like hundreds of thousands of people checking that out.
Hundreds of thousands. It's cray-cray in the main.
It is pretty crazy. And then there's the underground.
Yes,
the-
some of it should stay buried.
Yeah,
in
like
fact.
the
In the trunk kind of stuff.
That Monday open mic, that's like so corpo now.
Yeah.
That's like so mainstream and corpo. It's literally sponsored by a corporation.
Yeah, by several.
And so you're not allowed to tell any jokes about hot sauce anymore because or else it's going to get
big hot
demonetized.
sauce,
Big
yeah.
hot sauce.
Yeah, big hot sauce.
Big
One
hot.
is the Backstreet Boys. The other is literally a back street.
Yeah, and then so that's
And
the
it's not all right.
that's the one over at Vibe every Tuesday. That's the cool punk rock
Tickle
underground
Me
open mic.
Tuesdays.
Where there's no rules and you can make all the jokes about high spice that you
There's
want.
pretty much no rules.
You
In
can
fact,
do whatever you
there
want
might-
there.
You
It
can
might
do
benefit.
whatever you
You can
want.
do whatever you want.
There's no rules. They don't follow the order of the list. It's
There
just,
is no list.
It's all. It's
But is
definitely.
it a fun time?
It's always a
Mondays
fun
are my
time. I had
sober
a
night.
great. I had a great time.
Tuesdays I get tanked.
we
I
did
had
like
a great time
20-minute
last night.
intermission.
Where everybody just went outside and smoked weed in the parking lot for
Yeah.
like 20 minutes.
Everybody. Just
And
like,
it
goodbye,
was like
bartender.
literally everybody in the bar. And then we went back in and did more comedy. And Ivan went up, and
He's so
Corky
handsome.
went up. It was a really good time. Shane, you were in. You were like 3 sheets to the wind last night. You had a good time. You came up to me at one point and you're like, Vince, you had a really good set. I don't remember anything that you said, but it was good. I was like, thanks. I think I almost killed Chuck.
Yeah.
You were laughing so hard during my set that you almost died.
I did. Also, I choked on an Oreo. Do you ever do that thing where you don't chew enough food and then like you hiccup, burp, and it comes up, but you're laughing, so you like die?
Are you asking me if I've died?
Yeah. Well, like sometimes you don't chew food enough and then it comes up again. Like it's a whole like.
I always don't chew my food.
I've done
enough.
that,
Yeah.
but I've never died.
So again, the Oreo dip in milk falls apart. How's an Oreo going to my stomach and then
Do
coming
you
up?
count when you dip your? Are you counting?
Sometimes.
No,
I count.
I put it into the bubble stop. That's how you know you've reached complete saturation.
We're still talking about Oreos, right?
I'm talking about strangling prostitutes in the tub.
That's like 5A
Same,
rent
same.
space. We got choke space. You can kill all the prostitutes you want at
Yes.
5A rent space.
And no
We got
one can
choke
hear you.
space.
Choke space.
I like when you're at a storage place and someone just comes by and they're like, "I'm not living here," and you're like, "Okay, I'm just helping Ted get his Christmas stuff out of storage. You don't need to tell me this."
And also, if you want to live here, feel free. I
yeah,
mean, we're-
why are they gatekeeping storage places? Why
we
can't
are
more people stay?
we
in
are
them?
all victims of late stage capitalism. It's fine. I'm not gonna rat you out, bro. Just do you.
Tennessee just made sleeping out of your car a 6-year prison sentence. So
Wow, of
I
course.
feel really great about that. Yeah, imagine being so broke
Sleeping
you
in
can't
your
afford to
car?
live in Tennessee.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
Like, how broke are you that you can't live in Tennessee?
Now
Arizona iced tea cans are 99 cents in Tennessee.
still,
Yeah,
Wow.
actually crazy.
That's
They're-
crazy.
At a Stop and Shop in Waterbury, Connecticut, they were 69 cents. I couldn't believe it.
the
Wow.
tall boys.
They're 30 cents below prime.
Wait,
Wow.
what?
Yeah.
Where was this?
Stop and Shop in Waterbury, Connecticut.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah. it's pretty
Should have checked the bag, dude.
cool. Yeah.
Now, if you're listening to us on the radio, you are most likely listening to us on 88.5 KAKU, the voice of gravy.
Oh, that's right. We have a show to do.
But don't forget that you can also listen to all of our past episodes if you go to biscuitwars.com,
BiscuitWars.com.
or if you just go on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts, just type in Biscuits and Gravy 808, and you can listen to all of our past episodes for free.
Or
Isn't
if
that
that's
great?
Wow.
too hard to remember poopythongs.com. That's right.
Yes.
Poopythongs.com.
If you go to
One more time.
poopythongs.com,
One more time.
Poopythongs.com.
Poopythongs.com.
that redirects you to the Biscuits and Gravy
Oh, wow.
show.
Because our show is so funny, you're going to poop your thong.
And if you want to see all the magic happening in real time, we're on live TV right now on Channel 55.
That's right.
So if you're at home listening to the radio, flip on Channel 55 and watch us. And then don't forget that every week you can email us questions for the Buffalo. So you want to email those questions to biscuitsandgravy808@gmail.com, and we'll ask your questions to Chuck right on the air.
Does it smell like mushrooms in here to you guys?
I think it's a collection of a bunch of our burps. We're all burping a lot. And you're drinking UCC coffee, which is my favorite canned coffee.
It makes my tongue feel like a cat's tongue.
Yes. Nice and rough.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like
I wondered where that was going.
I like the Rainbow Mountain Blend coffee.
Does that make it feel like a mountain lion?
That's from Japan.
Japan.
And you can get those over at Foodland, but the one that's not very widely available.
Times has the unrefrigerated ones, by the way.
The UCC coffee, you can get those all over the island.
Yeah.
And that's one of my all-time favorites.
Why is there not an ABC store in town?
Times has the unrefrigerated Rainbow Blend coffees.
Heck yeah.
So can you buy them by the case?
Maybe they have them where like they sell the bougie ramen.
Ooh,
They're the little ones.
The
Yeah.
the Ichiran ramen.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
I
good.
still got some left. I'm pumped.
What, Ichiran ramen?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
When we come back from Disneyland, I'll make you some.
Yes,
Keto.
yes, we gotta have a ramen night when we come back from Disney.
You're on keto, and I just feel my toes. My toes hurt a lot.
Yeah, I ate that peanut butter Oreo last night, and that one Oreo by itself knocked me out of ketosis.
Are you peeing on sticks?
Peeing on sticks?
Yeah. How do you
No.
know if you're in ketosis or not?
I can taste it. I just
I
take a nice warm sip of my pee, and I'm like, there you go.
I don't need to drink my own pee.
No, Chuck,
but
you
I
know-
do. It's
you
sterile
know-
and I like the taste.
That was dodgeball, right?
Yeah.
You know more than anybody, Chuck, that
Where is this going?
when you're on keto, you get keto breath.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know more. I have to apologize to all my massage therapists.
Why?
Why are you talking to them anyhow?
And they're like,
Why are you lying face up?
I'm like, that's a third of it is face up, and
Yeah.
also my breath is so bad they can.
Wait,
probably
a third of it is face up?
Yeah, yeah.
Would you have 3 sides of your body?
Yeah, I do the rotate. I'm like a rotisserie.
It's like 3 sides to a coin.
Yeah.
Would you lay on your side at some point?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they massage the other side of
They
you?
like usually like shove my shoulders and butt and like in different directions.
I don't think I've ever laid on my side for a massage.
Sorry, I snapped at you. Someone
Yeah.
said.
Also, I was way worse that one time. Someone come in. I totally get it, love it.
You know,
For those of you listening to the Biscuits and Gravy show, I was loud and obnoxious to a TV show. Me, I was loud and obnoxious.
Which
I can't
is,
believe
it's
it.
crazy because most of the time he's just loud and obnoxious on a TV show
Yes.
and on the radio and in person.
Yeah, but now I'm so loud and obnoxious on other people's TV
In
shows.
podcasts, in mimeographs.
I feel
pretty
like
much
someone
any
else
form of.
held a note in that window before saying sorry to you for something
Yeah,
like that.
I get that a lot.
Chuck gets a lot of apologies.
People apologize to me
It's like
around
what's that morning show where people stand outside the window with signs?
Oh yeah, we should do that
for like Matt Lauer or
Oh,
whatever.
also, I have an idea. I want to start doing a thing called "Tell 'Em Why You Mad," and we can have people call, or we can record it in advance. But I want people to call in. It's like the ABRA from the newspaper, but that doesn't exist anymore. But I want to do like "Tell 'Em Why You Mad."
Do they not do ABRA anymore?
Nah, the thing's defunct. Also, he sent out like a weird like email to
We should bring back
everybody
ABRA.
explaining his like divorce, and then he got really into blacksmithing.
Been there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's just middle-aged men
Yeah.
for who are divorced. You get divorced and then you get into blacksmithing.
So they have that TV show Forged in
Well,
Fire.
first you
Have ever
get
seen
you get
Forged
in
in Fire?
first you get into
Yeah.
QAnon and then you get divorced and then you get into blacksmithing.
Yeah.
Which means Brian Michaels is only one step away from making swords.
I mean, he's one step away from having his fingers fused together.
I think he's one step away from death, actually.
One step away from death. The Brian Michaels story.
If you're listening, Brian.
We love you and keep up the good work.
He is not listening. All right, now, I got one very important thing that I want to mention right off the bat. Today is National Hot Dog Day.
What?
Yes.
Can we talk about the average American eating hot dogs
And
again?
so
No, we're
today
not.
is, what's today's date? The
The
19th.
19th.
Okay, so August 19th is National Hot Dog Day. So I think I'm going to have to go to Costco. I'm going to Costco after the show anyway, but I think I'm going to have to stock up on some hot dogs.
Oh, that's cool. I got the chicken sausages. They're stuffed with herbs and mozzarella. That's gonna be my lunch.
Ooh, those are so good.
They're so good. I got like a
I
sleeve
love
of
those
them.
chicken sausages too.
They're so
Those
good.
are also very.
Are you
keto
turning a
friendly.
new leaf right now, Chuck?
No.
No.
I'm just shedding. I'm trying to eat up what's in my freezer because we lost power for a while. And so, yeah, I'm just going to try to eat, and hopefully I don't die. Or
Is-
get
I mean,
molting?
theoretically,
Is that
shouldn't
what's-
you try to eat the stuff in your freezer before you lose power, and before all your food spoils, and not after? You're like, all of my food spoiled, so we're gonna try to eat it.
yeah, you don't want to open the drawer while it's thing in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was gone, so there was actually ice in the freezer for once.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Dude, it was so good. This is like the second time that we were off island for like a big storm.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, and so we got to avoid that whole bee's nest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
By the way, sorry if you got dumped on. I just leave the island all the time. It's great. Every time I leave, you guys get hammered with storms. And every time I come back, it's all amazing and puppies everywhere.
Yeah, and then, when we were coming back from Vegas, it
Vegas
still
and
took
Tokyo.
It still took us a while to get back to the island, but we missed the whole brunt of like all the storms and everything. So that was good timing on our part. Now, speaking about coming back from vacation, listeners of the show will probably remember that the last time we were on the air 2 weeks ago, Chuck was not here because he was in charcuterie rehab,
Didn't
and
stick, but I am sticky.
not only that, he was traversing the globe and spending some time in his old stomping grounds of Connecticut.
What was that joke he made about Globetrotters?
What?
We made some joke about Globetrotters.
Oh, yeah. I forget what that
Inside
was.
acid jokes are so much fun.
And speaking of which, so we, Shane and I, had the great opportunity to come
Break
and
Chuck out.
yeah, we got to come chuck you out.
Yep.
We got to see you.
Chuck you up.
We got to see you in your natural habitat. There was one point where Shane just looked over at you. We were kayaking on the lake, and Shane was like, "Look at Chuck." And he's like, that's the perfect summer Chuck moment. And you're just like in your kayak with no shirt and your bucket hat, your pink bucket hat on.
I know. I love my periwinkle bucket hat, my chucket hat, if
and
you will.
I was like, man, that is Chuck in his
A
natural
bald
elements.
eagle just flew over us too. It was great.
And I didn't point at it.
No.
Yeah,
That's
it was,
right.
It was a pretty magic moment.
And that big heron that flew like with us from the one cove.
One of my favorite things was seeing that man catch a crab with a chicken leg.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he was doing the old school like reel it in slow and then scoop it with a net.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is fun. I like doing the trap fishing for crabs, where you throw out the trap and you put like a chicken gizzard or something in the little bait box.
Yeah.
And then you wait, you play the waiting game, and then sometimes you can see the crabs, and you like wait till they all go in the cage, and then you pull it up and catch them all.
Yeah, man.
And then you go home and make crabs and spaghetti. Good
Ooh,
times.
crabs and spaghetti.
Yeah.
Did you guys get enough seafood while we were over there?
I mean, like, we should talk about the one of the number one things about that trip that I enjoyed was the exposure to all of the seafood. Because, we get really spoiled here in Hawaii with all the fresh fish.
Yeah, ono, mahi-mahi, poke, ahi, all the good old stuff, right?
Yeah, but the one thing that we're lacking seafood-wise is we don't get a lot of, like, shellfish.
And there's so much shellfish.
We don't have
oyster
local crabs that we
trays,
can
and
eat.
there's little things that tell you like exactly where they got them from.
Yeah.
And they all taste and look so different.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we miss here because our waters are too warm to support like clams and oysters, mussels. We don't get any of that. We get opihi, which is
They're not the same.
somewhat edible, but kind of dangerous to harvest. So they're not like very popular, and they're also more of like a barnacle than like a.
Also, our whitefish is different, and you know what? Cod, if you haven't had it in a long time, it's good a couple times in a row.
Cod is good.
But fried scallops, fried clam bellies, so good.
Yeah.
Dude.
Now I like kampachi as well. If we're talking about like nice whitefish, like
Yeah.
cod is always good, but kampachi is so great, man. So we're very blessed to have so much fish out here. But sometimes you want those scallops, you want those oysters, you want those like raw clams. We went to a raw bar, and we both got the oyster sampler and some raw little neck clams. Those
Oh man.
really bringing me back to my East Coast summer days.
You didn't miss out, but I had some quahogs while you were gone. You know the Family Guy? They're from the town of Quahog.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually a type of clam, and they're the size of my fist.
Yeah, it's they're named after, is it Quahog, Rhode Island?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my God, they're so good.
Yeah. And we went to one of the places that you took us to. It was called Bill's Seafood.
Yep. Shout out to Bill's Seafood, baby.
Shout out to Bill's
What up,
Seafood.
Bill?
We got like this huge platter. We got a big old bowl of mussels that came in like this white wine garlic butter sauce,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is
Did you guys
know
absolutely
that
fantastic.
Those of you listening to the Biscuits and Gravy Show, did you guys know that white wine, garlic, and butter and herbs
Tastes good.
taste really good?
And also
Drink
that
it.
you can drink it with a straw. If you have a straw from your soda, you can actually repurpose that straw and turn it into a garlic white wine butter sauce straw.
Reduce, reuse. Captain Planet would be so proud of us for
Yes.
drinking that juice.
And it was quite good. And then we got like a big old like fried captain's platter with like scallops and like fried oysters and calamari and all types of great stuff.
And
man.
onion rings, too.
Onion
In
rings,
Yumtown.
fries. It was a big old
And
fry
what was the
up.
name of the shrimp that was like even better?
Oh, it was like
Yum
Bang
Yum or
Bang.
Bang Bang.
I think it was
Bang
Bang Bang shrimp. It was
Yeah.
like a fried shrimp with like a spicy mayo on top.
But the way it was battered, remember old school Chinese buffet chicken fingers? How it was like that, like crazy different batter. It was so fluffy and golden brown and crunchy. Not tempura, not beer battered, but somewhere in between. That's how that shrimp was battered.
Also, one of the highlights for me food-wise was the tomatoes.
Oh
like
my
having
God.
a good tomato again.
And corn.
Such
Oh
a
yeah,
treat.
yeah. East Coast. I mean, like East Coast tomatoes and like Jersey corn and stuff like that. All those like that East Coast produce was something that you don't really think about until you realize how good it is. Because I made a tomato salad a couple weeks ago and I was like, oh yeah, this really takes me back. Good old tomato salad. And then your friend Kim made us a tomato salad while we were back there, and it was like was it like local Connecticut tomatoes?
Yeah.
And the depth of flavor in those tomatoes was on a whole other level.
It tasted better than a
Unbelievable.
fruit salad.
It like unlocked this like all these memories of what tomatoes are supposed to taste like that I had like blocked out of my mind. And man, what an unbelievable experience.
Because we had not eaten vegetables at that point.
Also,
I mean,
much-
pizza's a vegetable.
how much of that tomato flavor is from like the climate and like the air and stuff? Because like we could have those same seeds, but we wouldn't get
But
those
you're not
tomatoes.
going to do it. No, and it's the nights have to be cold, too, and yeah, it's all the stuff.
And I think it has to do with the terroir. That's a winemaking term where it's like all the grapes that you use to like grow to make wine are like all the same like genetics, but it's based on the soil where they're being grown. That gives it its depth of flavor and character.
So this part of the East Coast,
It's called
it's where
terroir.
the glaciers that scraped from the Great Lakes all the way down, and then they pretty much melted, and then like dumped it on Connecticut, and then the leftover garbage was Long Island. And so, really,
It's still to this way today.
yeah, nothing has changed. But oh my God, we got to kayak in the river, out into the ocean, and then I felt like Odysseus. We had this little sandbar with like Charlize Theron for a couple hours. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like taking a canoe down a river and then into the ocean, and then getting to like land our canoe onto a sandbar and just hang out on a sandbar, and then swim in the ocean off of the sandbar. It was a great time.
Oh man, and then get pizza magically delivered to us.
Yeah. So
How does that happen?
here's one of the things that.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
So here's one of the things about Connecticut that I didn't really know. You know, like we've heard about Mystic Pizza.
We all think it's Gilmore Girls and Mystic Pizza, but it's not. It's so much more.
And I have heard you talk many times about like Connecticut pizza, and I always just kind of brush it off, like yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
Chuck's talking again.
Yeah, Chuck's talking again. Time to plug your ears. But I really didn't know that how deep the pizza culture was in Connecticut.
crazy.
They take a lot of pride in it.
As they should. It
And
is by far the best pizza.
Now, where do you guys get your water from in Connecticut? Is it coming from the Delaware Water Gap?
No,
or
we're getting our own water.
you're okay. But where is it coming from?
Yeah. So basically,
Like your drinking water.
Basically, as the glaciers
glacial?
formed, it
Is it
formed
coming
like
from,
really
like-
small mountains up and down,
Yeah.
and then so our wells go really deep, and because there's tons of mountains that are spread out, kind of like an accordion, it all like seeps into the rocks, and there's tons and tons of just really great, nutritious water.
Yeah, because like Philly, Jersey, and New York all get their water from the same place, and
The Delaware Gap.
and it's very minerally, which is why like the
Bagels are good.
water there, the bagels, the pizza, it's all like very renowned for like making dough and stuff like that. And so people from New York are like, oh, you can't get a good pizza outside of New York, but like Connecticut, I think Connecticut
We got our own water.
is right above you, those guys. And I feel like Connecticut is kind of up there being like, hey, we're the pizza state. And then New York's like, what'd you say up there? And you're like, nothing.
Yeah, but we are. It
Like-
is, and it's different type of pizza too.
Yeah, but then like when you get there, you realize people are taking their pizza seriously. There's like
religious
a pizza
experience.
trail, we had a pizza map
Yeah.
that had like not only the locations of all the top ranked pizza places in the state, but also
What
like
kind of pizza?
what
it
kind of
was.
pizza, because there's so many different kinds of pizza.
You
wanna-
got the Greek pizza.
You got a beets.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Why
it's
don't
so
you
good.
describe some of the different types of pizza from Connecticut?
So, you have your Greek pizza, which is where the crust is like rolled in, and it looks like a crust. The crust is noticeably darker and thicker and curved. And Greek pizza also invented. in
Which one's
Connecticut.
that? The beets?
No, that's Greek pizza.
The Greek pizza?
And then a beets is cooked in usually like a charcoal oven, so really hot, and it's doughy and crispy at the same time. And then you have Neapolitan pizza, and that's super fresh dough, super fresh dough, a little bit more bubbly.
I love
and
Neapolitan pizza.
It's so good, and I like the blend of the two of a pizza and that. And then you got your bar pizza, which is like super thin,
really thin, yeah.
like cracker thin.
Yeah.
But they use a lot of like hot oils on it, and it's fantastic.
We were very fortunate. The first night that I flew in, we shout out to a restaurant called Al Forno.
An old Saybrook.
Yeah, Al Forno was pretty fantastic. We went there. We got a couple different entrees, and we also got some meatballs. We got a side of meatballs, and the meatballs were so cheesy. Like when you would bite into them, like cheese was like oozing out. And it wasn't like a stuffed meatball. There was just like so much cheese incorporated into the meatball.
Remember that commercial where it was like peanut butter and chocolate got in a car accident and it like formed a new
Yeah, it's for Reese's.
snack, right? Okay. So I got the scoop on how they make those meatballs there.
Oh yeah,
Okay, so
they
real
put a
scoop
bunch
time.
of cheese in there.
So it's burrata,
Okay,
which is already one of the better cheeses.
do they like grate it or shave it?
Burrata is, if you guys don't know about this, it's like if mozzarella ate
We all know what
ricotta.
burrata is.
It's so good. But they mush it together with the meat, and this is what makes those meatballs so crazy soft. They use chicken stock.
Oh, okay.
They
Interesting.
add a little bit of chicken stock to it with the cheese, with the ground meat, and it's veal, pork, and beef.
Yeah,
And
super
so-
tender, super juicy.
Just like all the animals. I like
Yeah.
that.
So
Yeah.
then that was like our
And then we
preparation.
got that on a pizza.
So we were like doing all like the research
For you.
about the meatballs, and then the next night when Shane came in, we decided to drop acid, and then we ordered a pizza. And while we were eating the pizza, when we ordered the pizza, we were like, all right, what should we get on there? And we're like, well, remember how good those meatballs were?
Uh-huh.
Well, why don't we put those meatballs on a pizza with a little bit of caramelized onions? And was that not one of the best pizzas you've ever had?
Also, how did they make the
Maybe
onions
the
so
best.
fat? The onions were like chow fun thickness. It was great, and they were,
They were
so
they were like long shoestring like caramelized onions.
thicker though. It was thick, like wide, I guess I should say.
No, they were
so
long.
young.
When I held up my first slice of that pizza, it was like growing.
You're like, whoa. But man, what an amazing pizza, and what an amazing time.
And shout out to friend of the show, Dominic and Vinnie's. Their Hot Lips pizza was
That
so
was
good.
an amazing pizza, dude.
That's
So
a
it
good
was
one.
soprasat and honey and like crushed red pepper. So it was like a spicy honey soprasata pizza.
Yeah.
Also, I was blown away at how good that was.
And the broccoli rabe pizza. The broccoli rabe wasn't bitter.
It was like broccoli rabe and sausage.
Yeah.
That was a great pizza. I think I didn't have a bad pizza the whole time we were there.
And then we got another one that was ricotta and fresh mozzarella
Yeah.
and tons of basil.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was like a margarita pizza, add ricotta.
Yeah.
How good was that, dude?
So we ate
That
it for
was
3 days.
Yeah, that was the one that we ended up taking on the plane. I was like eating it on the plane, like, oh, thank God.
So that one has the
Elbows
most
tucked in.
char. That one has the most char out of any pizza I think I've
I feel
ever
like in Connecticut
eaten.
they've all nailed the char.
Yeah.
Every crust that I ate had the perfect amount of char on the bottom, where it's like you can tell that they've got it down to a science.
We
Yeah.
had
Nothing was
wonderful
overcooked.
wings as well.
We had wonderful
yeah.
wings, and that place that we ate was our Original Joe's,
Yeah, Ojo's, baby.
and they also had really good cheesesteak egg
Ordinary
rolls.
Joe's.
Oh,
Yeah. Or the cheesesteak rolls. And
Yeah.
we had
Love that.
Yingling beer. You never had Yingling before.
Oh yeah, when I saw that they had Yingling in the bottle, I was like, I gotta get a
It's a
Yingling.
very poundable beer.
Yingling, fun fact, is the oldest brewery in America. It's in,
Whoa.
I think it's in Pottstown,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Speaking of
And
oldest
it's like
things in America,
it's like an hour west of Philly.
we went to America's oldest theme park,
Oh,
Lake
it hurts.
Compounce.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the theme park, dude.
And if you guys are ever like confident about your body and you're feeling really good, just
my back
energetic
still
and
hurts.
so life, and you want to ruin that, you're like, you know what? I'm just too. You know what? It's my early 30s, late 40s. I'm just feeling too vibrant every day. Go on a wooden roller coaster.
Yeah, that'll teach you.
So
I
here's,
felt like I
here's
was
the
joining
thing.
the Crips, like I was getting beaten up for my
Yeah.
minute 60.
Here's the thing about wooden roller coasters is that I don't know if it was because I was younger and my body could take more abuse, or if it was just because like it was 30 years ago. But wooden roller coasters didn't always seem to be that like harmful to my body.
I've bruised other people on wooden roller coasters.
But also I feel like there's something to be said for the fact that like I don't think they're really making wooden roller coasters anymore, which means every wooden roller coaster out there is like slowly deteriorating.
Yeah, I mean they are from like World War One.
I mean, like, there's some really old roller coasters out there, and the one that we rode, the wooden roller coaster at Lake Compounce, was called Boulder Dash, and
More like
it was
Boulder
like,
Smash.
it was really fun, like the drop and everything. The initial drop was really nice.
That was fun.
But then you start going through like these twists and turns, and it felt like a medieval torture device. It just felt like somebody put you in a wooden box and then put it in a paint shaker and started shaking you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were all getting slammed. My neck literally hurt after.
My
For
shoulder
like an hour.
to my butt.
It all hurt. But then all the steel roller coasters were absolutely fantastic.
They
They're
were fun.
frightening.
And
they
very-
go upside down and in reverse and up. It was so scary.
The one where you like going upside down in a loop doesn't really scare me, but the one part where it like stops upside down, you're just hanging upside down briefly.
Yeah, and then spoiler
That was
alert,
maybe the scariest
if
part.
you're like a greasy human being that is like very soft flesh as I am.
You're oozing out.
I was slipping. I was a slipping out, and I was not having a good time.
I don't think there was any risk of you slipping out of
You
the
don't
roller
know
coaster,
me.
but
I'm like those snaky thingamaboos.
you are very greasy and soft. But I gotta say, Chuck, I was really proud of you, man.
I'm afraid of heights, and
Because
you know what?
you-
I overcome my fears.
Yeah, and you have been talking a big game about how you microdosed your fear of heights away, and that you are no longer afraid of heights. And the way you were behaving when we were in the drop time one, the one that just takes you all the way up and then drops you straight down.
You
were
have
like
made peace with God.
you were in tears.
One of the rides, I was
You were, like,
I was
moaning.
next to, like, a 13-year-old girl, and I had to like apologize to her. I was like, "Adults should not act like this. I'm very sorry. Please ignore everything that I said."
But you didn't let your fear stop you.
No.
You overcame your fear, and that's the true meaning of bravery, Chuck. Because you know what they say,
You're very
being brave isn't about not being afraid. It's about being afraid and still doing the right thing.
That's right. It's how I overcame my fear of dying by eating shellfish.
That's like Alex Honnold, that guy who like
Alex Honnold.
Alex
That sounds made
Honnold,
up.
the guy who
Who are you
free
hanging out with? Oh, Alex Honnold.
The guy who free soloed
Oh,
El Capitan
Yeah.
from the movie Free Solo.
El
That guy has something wrong with his brain where he doesn't feel fear or like get nervous about anything. Like
That's
that
why
part of his
That's
brain.
why they get fighter pilots so young.
Yeah,
Their
and-
brain isn't developed all the way.
And so like that's not being brave.
No.
Just because you can't feel fear, you know? But you
I'm more like an Aldous Huxley.
you like being in tears
Yeah.
and still continuing to ride scary rides.
Heck
Well,
yeah.
That's the
And
true meaning of
maybe
bravery.
you could say I even enjoy it more than other people because I had all the endorphins going.
Yeah, and also
I swore in languages I didn't even know.
and urine
I
in
did
your
swear
pants.
a lot.
It was a very fun time.
Those rides were scary.
But I mean, like part of the thrill ride is that it's like a little bit dangerous too,
Yeah.
because like you always have that thing in the back of your mind, like what if I
slip
do
out?
fall out?
Because
Yeah.
also when you go to an amusement park, what also makes it scary is that everyone that works there is in junior high school.
When I was a kid, I was like, look at these like intelligent teenagers, like they really know what's going on. They really got their lives together. Because you're like a 10-year-old and you're looking at like a 19-year-old
They
operating a
look
roller
so
coaster.
old.
Yeah, they're like, man, I can't wait to grow up and be that kid. And then you get older, and now I'm like 40, and I'm looking at a teenager operating a roller coaster. I'm like, can we get an adult here,
Well, I
please?
don't
Just
know,
like one adult around the area would be nice.
Yeah, I would
I was
just
thinking
like to
about
see
this,
like
though.
one like 30-year-old
Do
supervising
you
everybody.
trust high schoolers that are working a summer job, or would you want an adult that only works a summer job?
Well, I mean, it might not only be a summer job.
Yeah, I
They
guess
might
like
have
teachers.
they might have other jobs.
Let's
yeah.
make teachers last so they work.
Let's have teachers because they're used to
Teachers should-
looking out and taking care of kids. You
Yeah,
know, they're
and
very
being
safety
sassy.
oriented. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
all teachers should work at theme parks in the summer.
Yes.
Although, what do you trust more? Somebody that's using a younger person that's using this summer job as a stepping stone, or a 35-year-old that's still working a minimum wage job?
That's what I'm saying. You know what? Solve it, right? Have prisoners work it. We'll lower the cost of the amusement park. We use prison slave labor.
Or pay the people working at the amusement park $50 an hour so we can attract
that
good
would never
talent.
work.
Also, prisoners around all those kids, Chuck.
This is Trump's America.
This is Trump's America. That would fit right in.
Did you hear about that guy in Florida that made the law that where if you're a pedophile, you get executed, and then turns out that he's a Republican, and it turns out Republicans pedophile everyone all the time?
Yeah, it turned out that he actually got in trouble for like underage sex crimes.
If you're like finger banging a kid, you know you're voting Republican. There's like no way around it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Let's wrap up our Connecticut conversation because we do have a couple other things that we got to tackle. I do want to mention we did some river tubing while we were there.
We did.
What was the name of the river that we went down?
Farmington River?
Farmington River. That was a great time. The name of the area was Satan's Kingdom, which was very fun. And then we also had some dank sandwiches and Italian food. We didn't even talk about the Italian food because, like, we went out to a bunch of Italian restaurants in addition to getting all the pizza.
I greeted each of you with the dankest Italian sandwiches when you landed.
And the
Appreciate
sandwiches were absolutely fantastic. Mine had like a
Pasta Vita?
chicken cutlet on the sandwich.
Yeah.
With like roasted red pepper and mozzarella and oh man, what an
And
amazing
prosciutto.
and prosciutto. What an amazing sandwich.
In fact, I asked to eat it while we were driving, and you're like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, Vince, I want some sandwich."
And then I gave you the sandwich and you're like, "Take it away."
I felt like I was
You almost crashed the car.
I was like breastfeeding going 80 miles an hour. This thing was so big.
And on our very last night, we wanted to eat at a restaurant. What was the name of the restaurant?
Roma's.
Roma, and then
Which feels like it's right out of Goodfellas.
and they were all booked up. They didn't have any reservations available, but I worked my magic and was able to get us reservations at the last minute. And that was one of the all-time vacation meals I've ever had. The clams,
the clams,
the
and the clam
clams-
sauce are so good.
the clams and
long
the sauce,
hots.
the long hots. It was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I got like a chicken rollatini, which is like a fontina cheese and prosciutto stuffed chicken breast
It was oozing
with the
out.
homemade parpadelle. Come on.
Oh my god, I love that
Homemade
pasta.
Homemade pasta, dude. You can't beat
Then
it.
you got all the seafood,
I had literally all the seafood.
all the and your sauce was so juicy.
Those white wine sauces are just fire, dude.
Yeah.
All of them.
Ah, so good. And you said that one time you were on vacation, you had like a white wine sauce, and it was the best thing that you had.
That was in Florence. Yeah.
Ah, man, I miss
How
Florence.
does
Gotta go back.
this food compare to Florence?
You know, it almost felt like we were in Europe being in Connecticut. Like the quality of food everywhere, the ingredients.
Oh, and shout out to my mom for making us meatballs too.
I want to give a shout out to all the hospitality that we received. You were a great host, Chuck. Your dad was very hospitable for letting us stay there. Your mom had us over, and she made some really dank meatballs. And your mom, it was really cool to meet your mom for the first time. And I gotta say, she was super nice and very funny.
Yes,
Very
so
funny.
She
I guess
regaled with you a couple stories I forgot about.
she was very funny, which means it must skip a generation.
Yeah.
But yeah, all hanging out with all your friends and everything, and seeing Steve Rossi again.
Yeah, what up, Steve?
Good time.
Finding out that Chuck's the quiet one in his friend group.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I never
thought
realized
that?
why Chuck was so loud. And then we were over Steve Rossi's house, and everybody was like speaking at the top of their lungs.
Yeah, and very violently moving their hand.
Yeah, and I just looked over at Shane. I was like, "Can you believe like Chuck is as loud as everybody else in the room?"
I'm quiet.
You were like
compared.
being drowned out.
Yeah.
In the conversation. I
drowning.
couldn't believe it. It's like I know where Chuck gets it from now.
Yeah.
So
I gotta
thank
slow
you
down.
to all of the friends and family that we saw in Connecticut. It was a blast, and I can't wait to go back.
Yeah, no, we gotta get. We didn't.
I want to go.
Out.
I want to go in the fall and
We
see all
didn't
the
get our
changing
lobster
colors
crepes.
and everything. Oh yeah, I got a. I did get a lobster roll though, and that was my first time
yeah.
getting like a real lobster roll.
Your claws were so huge; they were like boxing gloves.
Because I've had lobster rolls before, but never like a Connecticut like legit lobster roll.
It's so good.
Yeah, like an
It's its
East
own-
Coast
it's
like
its own
fresh
food,
lobster.
honestly. It's so
yeah,
great.
with the hot buttered roll, which I
Ooh.
heard is a Connecticut thing.
Yep.
And so that was.
Maine, they do it like mayo coleslaw, which is also okay. But
Oh, I
hot-
love mayo and coleslaw.
Hot butter roll, super yummy.
I like a sloppy coleslaw. As a matter of fact, I did put some coleslaw on my lobster roll.
Oh, that's right. We had crab cakes a bunch of times too.
Yeah.
Oh
so good.
yeah,
That's how we'd start our
crab
days.
cake. I love a big meaty crab cake. And anytime you go out to like a restaurant and they have crab cakes, they give you one. It's like the size of like a quarter.
Yeah.
And
like a
it's,
milk
it's,
top.
it's like, dude, when I want to eat a crab cake, I want to eat a big old crab cake.
We were getting third pounders.
I don't want to eat like a bite-sized crab cake, and I also don't want to spend like $26 for an order of crab cakes, and it's like 2 crab cakes the size of a quarter that come on a piece of lettuce with a lemon wedge.
Yeah.
That's
Also,
not a crab cake experience.
They had this place called Pasta Vita.
Or for like $11, you can get 3 third-pound crab cakes and
Nuts.
throw it on
Even less.
It won't even fit on a hamburger bun.
so big.
Yeah. Oh man, it was so good.
Stuffed mushroom crabs.
Throw a little tartar sauce on there. Oh yeah, all the take and bake places that we
Oh,
went.
I forgot about
Pasta
those.
Vita. Shout out to Pasta Vita.
Why doesn't someone do that in Maui? Give me some take and bake.
I would go
Italian
there
food.
every week.
You know what? Honestly, I bet a place like that would do really well because you don't need a lot of space to warehouse that stuff. And there's so many people on vacation. It'd be way cheaper to go out and grab a take and bake and take it back to
And
your hotel
You
room.
make your own pasta. You do. You can just make one sheet of pasta. You can crimp it together for your ravioli. Shout out to the homemade ravioli.
Crimp
that
it
we
up.
Had. You can do lasagna, or you can cut it ribbon. You do one batch of pasta.
One
you get
giant sheet of pasta.
Three different types out of it.
All right. Now, you guys ready for the next portion of the show?
Sure.
Because we got to do a little follow-up junction.
Corky just asked if I cried on the roller coaster.
Corky, I can tell you with authority that the answer is yes. When we were on the drop thing, when we got to the very top, Chuck, I thought you were having an emotional breakdown. You were like, "Ah!"
Why?
You're like, why? Why did I do this? Oh God!
But it was so beautiful though.
But then when the ride's all over, you feel so exhilierated.
Yeah, it was
because
great.
you feel like you're safe again.
in the Zoomerang.
Al-
dude.
Always good to get out of your comfort zone. The Zoomerang was really great, and the Revolution one where it's like a pirate ship that goes up and down, but it was
Oh,
also
that one was
spinning
sick.
around at the same time.
Yeah, that was
cool.
fun.
That was actually kind of scary.
Yeah, it was,
that's a
I
great
liked that
ride.
one.
All right, so for follow-up junction, Ellen Page was
Yes.
the actress, and then she was in
Actor.
Juno. She was an actress who was in Juno, and now she is Elliot Page, and Elliot Page is the actor who appeared in The Odyssey.
For 10 seconds.
And so last week I accidentally said Elliot Smith,
yeah.
who is totally different. Elliot Smith, the very melodramatic singer-songwriter.
I thought he committed suicide, but apparently
He
just had
did
ADHD.
technically commit suicide, but there's also a theory that his girlfriend stabbed him because, like, he died
stabbed
from
himself in the heart.
he died from a knife wound to the heart, and him and his girlfriend
Very
were,
melodramatic of him. By the
him
way.
and his girlfriend were arguing at the time. But she said she locked herself in the bathroom and then he stabbed himself in the heart. So we might have like a Courtney Love scenario going on here, but technically it was ruled a suicide. So shout out to Elliott Smith, Needle in the Hay, great song. If you haven't listened to Elliott Smith and you want to feel sad, go listen to some Elliott Smith.
If you want to feel sad.
And then Emily Willis was the porn star who was in the coma. I don't know if we talked about that a couple weeks ago. Emily Willis, she was in rehab for ketamine addiction, and then she went into a coma and suffered brain damage.
Yep.
And so there was a whole lawsuit. Her family just settled for a couple $1 million, and she is actually recuperating, and she actually came out of her coma, and even though they thought she was going to be a vegetable for the rest of her life, she's actually starting to recuperate. So, our thoughts and prayers are with you, Emily Willis.
No relation to Bruce Willis, but she is a vegetable.
And we do hope that you're doing well. Also, Breezy Bree, the porn star, she had been missing for 2 weeks. This is a quick little Morningwood little jaunt here. She had been missing for a couple weeks. There was a missing persons report out for her by her modeling agency, and then it turns out she showed up alive and well in Vegas. So crisis averted. And then... trapdoor spiders. Don't catch their prey by making a trapdoor that the bugs fall into. They make a trapdoor that they hide under, and then when the bugs walk by, they pop out from their little hidey hole trapdoor and scoop up the bugs.
Nice.
So there you go.
Spiders are so cool.
Spiders are really awesome.
Unless you think they're ash.
All right.
Scary.
Now, do you want to do a little mini gluttony club?
I mean, I feel like we did.
We talked
the
a lot
most
about
amount
food.
of gluttony
I
club.
really just want to do, well, actually, technically, this can be a biscuits and or gravy news. Let's see, do I have... Oh, do you hear that sound check? So I don't know if this is at our local Costco, but some of the Costcos on the mainland are starting to sell buttermilk biscuits that are fresh made at Costco.
No way.
They're making them in-house now.
Have we done the biscuit bump?
I'm going to Costco after the show.
All right, give me
I
the
will
skinny.
let everybody know whether or not there are fresh buttermilk biscuits over there, but
Is the bakery even open here on Maui?
Because that's a good point, because they were closed for a month.
Oh yeah, they were.
They gotta be, because they were closed
renovating
before I
it.
left, and then I was gone for a month.
Okay, so hopefully they're back, and then maybe they were renovating because they were installing the biscuit machines.
Yeah, weird coincidence. Chuck is gone and the bakery's closed.
Oh yeah,
And
Chuck was
I
keeping
come
the
back,
bakery afloat.
and the biscuits come back.
They're like, our finances can't afford to keep the bakery open while Chuck is gone. So
If I ever get married again, I just want everyone to wear a tuxedo cake.
when Chuck goes on vacation, he has to give Costco like a 3-week notice.
Yeah.
Like leaving a job.
Yeah, they're like, uh-oh.
But yeah, I'm going, especially because
Who's
today's
gonna eat
National
all
Hot
these
Dog Day.
Chicken wings and bourbon.
Go to Costco, get your hot dogs, and investigate whether or not they got biscuits over there. The world wants to know. Also, shout out to Tin Roof. I went to their 10-year anniversary celebration, Boogie Down, and they had live music and a bunch of tents and a bunch of different food purveyors, and I went old school, got a spicy chicken sandwich from Tin Roof, and I gotta say, even though everybody knows how I feel about Jollibee's spicy chicken sandwich, I will say that the spicy chicken sandwich from Tin Roof, it reminded me of why I was such a big fan of it. I know Chuck's not the biggest fan, but Tin Roof, man,
I
have
turned a new leaf on Tin Roof.
they have a killer spicy chicken sandwich. Have you ever had it?
I have not.
Okay, so I would say it's not going to be as good as Jollibee, but it is pretty darn good. It's like a different breading. It's a little bit of a thicker and like more well done on the outside. It has a little bit more of like a local feel to it, but very good.
I went to Nalu's for breakfast yesterday.
Ooh.
And they gave me a free French toast for my birthday.
Wow.
Oh, nice. Yeah, by the way, happy birthday. I don't know if we mentioned it, but yesterday was your birthday, so happy birthday,
Happy
Shane.
birthday.
It was a good one.
We always love having you on the show for your birthday.
Rick gave us the biggest bottle of Maker's Mark.
I didn't know they made. I thought
For
I
Trunka Hall.
the biggest bottles.
He gave it to me in an oil box, and I was like, why is he giving me oil?
I was like, you need to change your oil.
All right, now we can do a little spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert is proudly brought to us in part by lovely community-minded celebrity sponsors like Bruce Springsteen's String Beans, grown in the USA.
And also by Bob Dylan's Dill Pickles. Looking for something Jewish and shriveled? Look no further than Bob Dylan's Dill Pickles.
And we wouldn't be here without Winona Ryder's horses. When you're looking for something to mount, think Winona Ryder.
Yes. I would do stranger things to her, as Chuck would say. Now, do you guys want to play? We only have like 10 minutes left, so we can play a quick game, or we can do spoiler alerts.
Let's do spoiler alert.
All right, because there's a lot of TV to talk about that we really haven't had a chance to cover in a while.
I got 3 months of Apple TV for free.
Ooh.
I'm super pumped.
Right.
I'll show you the passwords when I'm done.
What are you gonna watch?
I've plowing through Your Friends and Neighbors with John Hamm. It's where he is like a big New York executive, and he gets fired for banging a secretary or whatever.
What?
And then I know. And then he's like already going through a divorce. His wife is banging his friend who's a basketball star, and he starts robbing all of his friends and trying to like pawn off their $200,000 watches.
Isn't there a show with like Owen Wilson as a golfer or something on
Yeah.
Apple TV right now?
That's supposed to be good.
There's
And
also
then
one with
Beef Season 2 is supposed to be good. That's on Netflix.
yeah. There's also for Apple TV. There's also one with Anya Taylor-Joy, which is supposed to be good. It's called like Lucky or something like that. But man, Apple TV does not miss when it comes to original series. They've got some great stuff. Did you ever watch For All Mankind? For All Mankind.
Oh, yes!
There's only like 3 people that have ever watched that
For
show,
All
but I
Mankind,
love
for those
that
of you
show.
that don't know, it takes place in an alternate reality where the United States did not do the moon first. Russia did.
Yeah, we lost the space race, and so instead of giving up on the space race, we just continued to do it forever. And it's a really cool alternate history show, and it's a weird premise, but fantastic show, man. I love that show.
Yeah, Stanley Kubrick doesn't exist in that universe.
And then, man, also Silo Season 3 is currently airing on Apple TV.
I'm
I
excited
don't know
to
if all the
binge that.
episodes are out, but I'm going to wait till the entire series or the whole season is out before I watch it. But it is currently available.
I'm excited.
So maybe.
I
Oh,
had to
and
get
also Season 3 of Ted Lasso just came out.
Oh, and then there's that Ted
I
Lasso
forgot, man. I
biscuit
gotta
recipe.
watch Ted. I gotta watch Ted Lasso.
Have you guys
man.
been inundated with the Ted Lasso biscuit recipe?
Yeah,
It's everywhere.
yeah, it's all over my.
So I had to get a
algorithm.
new phone, so
especially
I went to Spectrum.
especially when you have a Google alert for biscuits.
Yeah.
You get a lot of Ted Lasso biscuit recipes.
Check this out, guys. I went to Spectrum because I had to get a new phone. Spectrum didn't have internet at the Spectrum store.
Good for them. That's so nice. They're really on the spectrum. Also, I saw Spider-Man 4, the new
Oh,
Spider-Man
yeah?
movie with Tom Holland and Zendaya. That was fantastic. I had a really great time there.
She's
It's,
questionably thin.
It was well, I mean, she's got Ariana Grande beat. No, Zendaya looks good.
Okay.
She looks healthy. It's Ariana Grande's looking not so hot.
You know what? For someone who's
But you know
thin,
what? We're not
can't- well,
gonna
how can
talk-
your last name be Grande?
We're not gonna speculate about women's bodies
No.
on
Also,
Biscuits and Gravy Show.
Eat some
Ooh,
biscuits.
Can
Get
I
some
give you?
thickness.
Can I give you out of the blue recommendation?
Heck to the yeah, you can. Vincent Fodi on the Biscuits and Gravy Show. Catch us 24 hours a day at poopythongs.com.
Do you like martial arts fighting movies?
I do.
Okay, cool. There's a movie that came out called The Furious. And
Oh,
it's like,
Christy watched it.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude, it's so good. If you like just like crazy over the top action movies, The Furious is a really fun hand to hand combat like good old fashioned martial arts fighting movie, and it's really great. It's sort of like Chinese version of Taken. Like this guy's daughter gets kidnapped, and then he has to.
I also applaud you guys for not saying Chinese version of Taken in Chinese.
He has to go punch everybody in the face to get her back, and he does, and it's great. And there's a really cool scene where he fights a dude with a bow and arrow at the end. It's great. So check that out. Also, Life, Larry, and the Pursuit of Unhappiness has been absolutely fantastic. If
Although-
you got HBO, go watch that.
It's
Super
so
funny.
Larry David because he's playing historical people, right?
Yeah, it's not historically accurate.
No, but
It's just
he's
like him
still
doing
wearing
sketches.
chinos and casual shoes.
Yeah, he's about comfort.
Yeah.
Also, Rick and Morty season 9 ended.
Oh no.
And Rick and Morty season 9 was absolutely fantastic. So if you're not caught up on Rick and Morty, season 9 was one of the best seasons
I just want to
in a long time, man. It was really good. And one other quick little shout out. I had been reading this book series called Dungeon Crawler Carl, which has been really entertaining. I was like super getting into it. I even talked to you about it a couple weeks ago. It's about like aliens come to Earth, and it's sort of like The Running Man meets Dungeons and Dragons. Like they turn the entire world into a giant dungeon TV show. And then as soon as I'm like halfway through the series. I've read like 3 or 4 books out of 8, and I just found out the other week that Seth MacFarlane from Family Guy bought the rights to it, and he's going to turn it into a show.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, so I'm super hype about that. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for more news about Dungeon Crawler Carl. Really great book series.
Seth MacFarlane, also from Connecticut.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yep.
You know, he was supposed to be on one of the 9/11 planes, and he overslept.
Wow.
Pretty crazy, huh? All right, and now it's time for our favorite part of the show.
Chuck Stuff the Knowledge Buffalo.
Chuck Stuff's Knowledge Buffalo is presented in part by Jason Bateman's Fishing Supplies. A master fisherman needs a master baitman.
It's also brought to you by Megan Fox's Fox Skin Gloves. Got weird toe hands? Cover them up with Megan Fox's Fox Skin Gloves.
And Christopher Walken's running shoes. If you're going to run,
Start with
walking.
All right, our first question for Chuck Stuff Knowledge Buffalo comes to us from Alfie in Utica, in New York. Thank you for listening, Alfie. Adrian Grenier played Vincent Chase in this HBO series.
Entourage.
Oh, yeah. Who could forget Entourage? You got Turtle and the whole E.
And then the girl from The Sopranos,
And
Jade
the
off Turtle.
Yeah, Meadow Soprano. All right, our second question comes from Brian in Twin Falls, Idaho. Brian sent this one in.
Idaho has waterfalls? Those flat.
They have 2. They're right next to each other. It's Twin Falls. All right. Okay. No, Idaho is mountainy. They've got terrain.
Tony.
And that's also where the head of the KKK is.
Oh, that's right. Coeur d'Alene.
All right. A Roy Rogers is another name for what drink? It's a virgin cocktail.
Oh, a Roy Rogers is a virgin cocktail, and it's Coke and grenadine.
That's correct. It's a cherry Coke. Very good. Fancy name for a cherry Coke. All right. And our third question is always a sports question because, as you know, sports is Chuck's Achilles hoof. Shane, no helping. All right. Callie in Pukalani sent us this one. Memphis has a
Tennessee.
Memphis has a basketball team. What's the name of that basketball team?
The Cavaliers.
Really?
The Memphis Spurs? The Memphis Dry Rubs?
Okay. Memphis Dry Rubs would be a good name for a basketball team. All right, I'll give you one more guess.
The Memphis...
What do you mind me? What is that? Memphis Ball Fondlers?
The Memphis Big Shirts?
I'm sorry, it's the Memphis Grizzlies.
Okay.
And you didn't get all 3, but you did get 2 out of 3. And you know what our deceased friend Meatloaf always says? And that also means that's the end of our show.
But not the end of Biscuits and Gravy. Check us out 24 hours a day at BiscuitWars.com, at PoopaThongs.com. Support your local free speech network. Stay tuned for DJ Tony Two Tokes, his amazing afternoon show. Check out channel 53, 54, and 55.
Oh, and there's a comedy show on Saturday.
There's a comedy show on Saturday.
Thank you.
Comedy show on Saturday.
Koa Brewing Company, doors at 6. Get there at 6 so you can order pizza.
Yeah, pizza.
If
by
you
the
enjoy
slice.
pizza and comedy, check us out. It's at the end of South Gay Road, behind Fred's, where 808 Bistro used to be. Nothing but highbrow, high entertainment, serving it slices of laughs and pizza. Can't wait.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Biscuiteers.
And from me to you,
hello.
I love the new song.
Let it play out.
Biscuits and gravy.
Let it play out.
Biscuits and gravy. Biscuits and gravy. Everybody love biscuits and gravy. Biscuits and gravy. Biscuits and gravy. Biscuits and gravy. Biscuits and gravy.
I'm Chuck Sauce, host of Biscuits and Gravy. KAKU is a listener-supported station. This means that all of the great programs you hear, like mine, are supported by you as well as our underwriters. If you would like to help keep the voice of Maui talking loud and clear, go to kakufm.org/donate today and give. Don't miss the Biscuits and Gravy Show Wednesdays at 11 a.m. 88.5 KAKU.
KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui.
Hi, this is Arnie Arneson, and this is the Wednesday edition of The Attitude with Arnie Arneson and producers Dave Scott and Stephanie Collins. You know the drill. We're recording on Tuesday morning. We continue to begin our opening, I promise, right through the end of August, with the poem America's a Gun by Brian Billstone. I guess here's the good news. We haven't had a mass shooting in a day. That's it. Last time a mass shooting happened was one day ago. So this explains why I do this poem. England is a cup of tea. France a wheel of ripened brie. Greece a short, squat olive tree. America's a gun. Brazil is football on the sand. Argentina, Maradona's hand. Germany, an oompa band. America's a gun. Holland is a wooden shoe. Hungary, a goulash stew. Australia, a kangaroo. America's a gun. Japan is a thermal spring. Scotland is a Highland fling. Ugh, better to be anything than America as a gun. And again, I want to remind you, we haven't had a mass shooting in 24 hours. That should tell you something about how we associate ourselves with those weapons. And then someone posted this on my Facebook page this morning, and I just thought it was so interesting. And it really describes our racist past. Ready? We were taught socialism was bad by the same generation that thought segregation was good. Can I repeat that? We were taught socialism was bad by the generation that thought segregation was good. And I put, take care of me, but not thee.